What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Happy Thursday. Hope everyone's having a good day. Today I'm going to do an altcoin review of Algorand. It's a project I met some people at an event last week that worked for. It's been on my radar for a while. Before we get into that, there's two pretty big news stories in the crypto space. We'll get into that in a sec. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Follow me on Twitter at bencryptoshow. Let's dive into the news stories. So first, the minor of the two news stories, BitBoy dropping the lawsuit against Deltozi. This was sort of surprising. BitBoy had insinuated that he had sued a bunch before and always won, but he was surprised at the amount of attention that this lawsuit had gotten. BitBoy has been sort of silent on Twitter the last day. That's very unlike him. I guess on his radio show, he announced that he was dropping the lawsuit to everyone's surprise. His Twitter page has kind of been like out of control lately. Every single tweet has been like, hater this, hater that. Here's a tweet, somebody put up a box of donuts and he retweeted it, kind of picking a fight here. Been sort of like a Jerry Springerish feel, so kind of a much needed Twitter break for BitBoy there. Now let's move on to the other big story on the day. Co-CEO of Alameda Research, Sam Drabacco, steps down. So this is pretty surprising. This is SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried's number 2. This guy does the trading and runs Alameda, whereas FBF obviously is the CEO of FTX. It's really tough to say. Some people have said Sam Drabacco is the most influential trader in crypto, and it's pretty accurate. Alameda Research has the funds and the market know-how and the savvy to move markets up or down like that. They had taken some reputational damage in the last, like, March through May. There were just a series of incidents that no one really knows. Did Alameda have something to do with them? Did they not? But there was always a little level of distrust, it seems. This move with Drabacco stepping down might be in line with, because the Alameda sort of incidents, if you could call them, SBF was the one who took the reputational damage for that, not so much Drabacco. So this move might be in line with SBF was just tired of the reputational damage falling on him. So he has kind of slowly phased Drabacco out of the company. If Drabacco is even really leaving the company here, it says he'll remain an advisor. He will just be stepping back from the day-to-day presence. It does say that he has not really been working at the company too much in the last few months. It's sort of surprising. Again, was there maybe a final straw incident a couple months ago that SBF said, that's enough, we got to kind of, phase you out here? Who knows? Tough to say. I think it's safe to say Drabacco will not be completely removing himself from crypto. I mean, if you're a heavy trader like that, you can't just quit crypto like that. I'm sure he'll resurface in another position. The new CEO of Alameda will be this girl here. It says it's the most influential trader in crypto in the world. This girl right here. She can move markets up or down. Snap of fingers. Here's your LinkedIn page. Incomplete. 85 connections. Hasn't updated her page from trader at Alameda Research to co-CEO Alameda Research. Caroline Ellison, they operate a little different at Alameda Research, but this is her, ladies and gentlemen, the single most influential, biggest trader in the crypto space. Get to know that name, Caroline Ellison. Let's move on to Algorand. So, what is Algorand? It is the world's most powerful and sustainable blockchain. They kind of build themselves as an environmentally friendly and fast blockchain. They are layer 1 and layer 2 in a nutshell. That means the layer 1, that's just the regular basic apps. Layer 2 are the more complex apps that are built on top of layer 1 for scaling. So as I said, they're a speedier blockchain. They build themselves as speedier than all the others. 11,000 transactions per second. That is 1 million transactions per day. They are proof of stake instead of proof of work. They have a very academic feel. A lot of their team came from top academic institutions like MIT and UC Berkeley. They have a lot of accelerator programs and courses at these top U.S. universities. They are carbon negative and they utilize low carbon emissions in their energy usage. They're very environmentally friendly and they are inflationary. So they have 6.5 billion coins currently in circulation, and coins will inflate. New coins are created every month, and that will go to a max of 10 billion coins. That's just like Ethereum and Bitcoin's inflationary fixed supply model. Get into the Fundraise. So they've been around since about they were first created in 2017. They've been coin trading since 2019. They raised $132 million in 8 rounds in 2018, 2019, and 2020. Half came from institutional investors, half came from an ICO actually in 2019. They raised 60 million, sold out in a day, it looks like. This is pretty unusual because there really weren't that many token sales in 2019. So the fact that they sold out $60 million in one day shows there was a lot of hype for this project then when crypto was in the tank. There are 50% that came from institutional investors, also about $60 million, and not really any of the big VCs here, even though they're a U.S. company mostly. Arrington XRB Capital, they're Silicon Valley, but a little smaller. Kinetic Capital, that's a pretty big Singapore firm. NGC Ventures, so none of like the Andreessen Horowitz or the big Silicon Valley VCs. There's something unique called accelerated vesting, which means in addition to being inflationary and fixed supply, the vesting from the early investors, those investors we just talked about, most of it has already been vested completely. If they met certain criteria, those coins could be vested. And so of the 30%, so it looks about 69% of their coins are circulating supply outstanding now. 30% is still remaining to be put in circulation, but that is mostly the 30% inflationary coins which will be created as opposed to coins from early investors which just have not been unlocked yet. Let's look at their ecosystem. So they kind of break it down here on the website. Tons of projects. I haven't looked through all of these. It's tons, but they got their newest projects, trending DeFi, projects to watch, NFT marketplace, highest ranking projects. They kind of break it down. If you look at the recent partnerships, you can see the more important ones. So the biggest partnership came a few months ago. They announced they'll be the lead partner for the FIFA World Cup coming up in November. They will be the technical wallet provider as well as the regular just sort of sponsor with Algorand splashed all over the stadiums and around the World Cup. They will not only be sponsoring the 2022 World Cup in Qatar in November, they will also be sponsoring the Women's World Cup in New Zealand in 2023. More partnerships. They partnered with Techstars about 2 months ago to create an accelerator program in Boston for younger entrepreneurs. They partnered with Marshall Islands. They'll be the official blockchain backing the Marshall Islands digital currency, which is out. You can trade that on exchanges now. Marshall Islands presumably chose them because they are environmentally friendly. Obviously, an island in the South Pacific, environmentally friendly is going to be, of utmost importance to them. Their the low carbon emissions attracted the Marshall Islands. More partnerships. LimeWire selects Algorand blockchain for the relaunch of its digital marketplace. So getting into music partnerships here. Lottery.com advances Project Nexus with selection of Algorand to power a blockchain-based gaming platform. So some gaming and lottery stuff here. There's their top DeFi project, AlgoFi. They launched in December. They're sort of a hybrid DeFi product. They have lending products, stablecoin products, liquidity incentives. And then their entire DeFi ecosystem, Algorand's AlgoFi, is that how you pronounce it? They do have the highest TVL. They also partnered with Wormhole to do cross-chain bridges, which means, so again, this is not an ERC20 token, it's an Algo token. They're their own blockchain, but if you want to quickly exchange tokens from either the Ethereum blockchain, Avalanche, or Solana, then you can quickly do it to the Algo blockchain using Wormhole. What else? About 6 months ago, they partnered with a ex-Citibank executive to launch a $1.5 billion venture fund dedicated just to institutional crypto projects. And this venture fund, they named Algorand as their main strategic partner, which means, safe to say, a lot of the $1.5 billion is going to be going to projects in the Algorand ecosystem. Borderless Capital, they announced the launch of their $500 million Algo Fund 2 around that time, November, so a lot of institutional money here, and you're just going to see a never-ending flow of sort of ecosystem projects because there's so much money here. Additionally, Grayscale announced about 6 months ago they're considering Algorand for its investment project. So Grayscale's put Algorand on their assets under consideration, meaning they're considering creating a Algorand sort of crypto investment trust, crypto index fund sort of project the way they have for a lot of their other top coins. More sort of one-off partnerships. They partnered with a vineyard here for the disrupt the global wine markets. Again, environmentally friendly sounds like. Here's a social messaging wallet to create near feeless low fees on chat-based crypto transactions. Alti is the name of that project. And they partnered with the Australian Zoo to launch Wildlife Warriors NFT in a bid to raise awareness and funds for the world's species. So if you could sum up all their partnerships, the recent ones, it's a lot of the usual gaming, DeFi, wallets, payments, sports with the FIFA World Cup partnership, startups, incubators, and then environmentally friendly causes. So it's the usual ones with a heavier emphasis than normal on environmentally friendly causes. Let's get into some metrics. So they're ranked number 31 in total market cap, about $2 billion market cap. So they're a big coin, but kind of not one of the biggest, not like a top 10 coin. As I mentioned before, 69% of their token supply is currently outstanding. That's the highest I've ever seen. And then most of the rest of the 30% is just due to the inflationary mechanism, which is good. That means there's very few, if any, coins that are going to be unlocked in the future, because usually the early investor coins, right, when they become unlocked, a lot of them get sold. So that means there's going to be not as much sell pressure here as there are for comparable coins. Let's get into some price action. So it hit exchanges in 2019. Pretty good, not bad. It looks like they've kind of performed sort of equal to Bitcoin over the last 3 years. Here's the Algorand chart. Here's the Bitcoin chart since 2019. Pretty similar. Not quite as good as BTC, but pretty similar. On the 1 year, they're about dead equal, down 70%, down 55%. What exchanges are they on? They're on pretty much every single big exchange. Binance, FTX, Bittrex, Bitfinex, Coinbase, MEXC, all of them, KuCoin. Get into the team. So Algorand is in the USA. Algorand Foundation is in Singapore. The big news about a month ago, Algorand CEO Stephen Kokonos resigned. There was nothing really unusual or shady about this. He had been at the company for a while. It was just time he just resigned to move on to other purposes. And it's believed that with the World Cup partnership coming up, sponsorship coming up in 3 to 4 months, he knew the workload would ramp up very quickly. So he figured it was probably time now, as opposed to after the World Cup or during the World Cup, to resign. An interim CEO is replaced. The project was founded by this guy. This is not CEO, it's a different guy, Silvio Maselli. Comes from academia, very impressive background. So he's from Italy, went to college there, has a PhD in computer science from UC Berkeley. He's a recipient of the Torian Award, which I'm told that's like the Nobel Prize of Computer Science. He was a professor at MIT for a while. He has won tons of awards in cryptography. He invented zero knowledge proofs, probability encryption, and a bunch of other stuff. And then in 2017, that was the year he founded Algorand. So this guy's pedigree it kind of reminds me of Adam Box. It's just top notch. He, sort of the cream of the crop here. Rest of the team, a lot from Boston, Singapore, Washington, D.C. So again, sort of very heavy academic areas there. And that is it. So yeah, I've been meaning to do a review of this coin for a while now. It's one of those coins you always sort of hear people talk about. Then I met people at a meetup last night. It's, obviously I'm a big fan of the coin. It's not going to have quite as big a retail fan base. It's going to have a lot of, technical fan base, a lot of institutional fan base. The coin has performed pretty good. Mine is Bitcoin. Definitely seems like a long-term hold. Great to put in your portfolio. I like the fact that they're just in their ecosystem. Tons of money in there. It's always expanding. Tons of different sectors. Never get old with the ecosystem. They're always going to be buying coins and creating coins in evolving ecosystems. So whatever the next trendy ecosystem sector is going to be, they're going to start some coins there. That's what I like. That's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll be back tomorrow with a new video. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Follow me on Twitter at bencryptoshow. See you tomorrow.